Hi!
Hello, and welcome to the Daily Almanac for June 23rd. So, let's get started.
This day in history!
On this day in history, June 23rd, 1845, a special session of the legislature of Texas voted in favor of joining the United States. Another name for this is annexation. For almost 10 years, Texas had been an independent republic. Also, on this day in 1931, aviators Wiley Post and Harold Gatty took off from New York on the first round-the-world flight in a single-engine plane. And on this day in 1964, Arthur Melin obtained a patent for the hula hoop. An Australian visiting California told Melin that in his country, children twirled bamboo hoops around their waist in gym class. Today on Word Power, we're going to talk about the word limousine. A limousine is a fancy car that is usually driven by a chauffeur. The word limousine originally comes from a place in France called Limousin. In medieval times, people from Limousin wore hooded cloaks with visors which stuck out over their faces. Later, horse-drawn carriages with a roof or hood were named after the hooded people in Limousin. They were called limousines. Eventually, that name was used for fancy cars, too.
Ooh, extremes.
Today on Extremes, we ask, what is the closest living relative to humans? The answer is the chimpanzee. Oh, you might not think that you have much in common with a chimpanzee, considering that their arms hang below their knees, they're mostly covered in hair, and they spend most of their time in trees. On the other hand, scientists have discovered that chimps share over 95% of our genes. That's pretty wild, don't you think?
Health tips.
When you're in a pool, always obey the pool rules. If you're just learning to swim, stay in the shallow end. Don't push or jump on others. You could accidentally hurt someone or yourself. When you're out of the water, walk slowly. Don't run, because the ground around the pool can be wet and very slippery. If you have an aquarium, it can be lots of fun to watch your fish swim around. And of course, you need to clean out the tank to keep those fish happy. But when you do, you should never dump the water into a nearby lake or pond. Eurasian milfoil is a kind of aquarium plant that has been dumped into waterways and has caused all sorts of problems. Milfoil is from Europe and Asia, and it's harmless there. But here in the United States, it grows very quickly. It grows so fast that it's clogging up the lakes and ponds across the country. Imagine trying to swim in a lake full of weeds. Yuck! Milfoil is spread from lake to lake on the bottom of boats. If your family has a boat, it can be your job to check the bottom before you put the boat into the water. Clean off even little pieces of plants, because it only takes a little section of the plant for milfoil to grow. Well, that's all the time we have left today for Daily Almanac. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you tomorrow.